Hello, my friends. It's Bradley J. Welcome to the Bradley J. Show. We welcome back Laurie Lewis, a longtime friend of mine from Boston, New York, and now out west, who has, in her life journey, come to discover and practice intermittent fasting, and is now an intermittent fasting coach. It's not about dieting, entirely different. Dieting is a turn-off word. This is something different, something you can do for a long term, and boy, did it work for Laurie, and it kind of works for me, and I have no willpower. So you might be interested in this. Laurie Lewis, you're the person who's the expert, so I'll shut up and let you do your thing.
So great to be with you, Bradley. Thank you.
Yes.
Well, do my thing. Okay, I guess that what people want to know first is what is that? Because they do think it's a diet. And intermittent fasting is a timing. A diet would imply a prescription of some sort of, whatever food you should or should not eat. And this is not that. And then one of the things I work very hard to do with people is to have people have a deep appreciation for your body and how amazingly well it's working for you, and to quiet any punitive. One of the aspects of dieting is it's so punishment oriented. It's like, I have to try and be good, and those foods are bad, and if I eat them, then I'm bad. And then the pendulum is swinging. You try really hard, and then you can't do it anymore, and you swing the other way. This is not that. So this is a
So
timing.
dieting is denying, and this is not denying, this is delaying, right?
That's right. I love the way you said that. People would think, gosh, well, fasting, that sounds like the ultimate struggle, denying yourself, depriving yourself. It sounds like so hard. And the opposite is true, because our bodies are designed to thrive and be in repair when we're in a fasted state. And so once you get through the adjustment period and your body's like, oh, there's plenty of fuel on board I can tap into, it feels good. Then during the fasting hours, when you find your own fasting sweet spot, um, your fasting that makes you feel well, your eating window that makes you feel well, then you just have great energy, and the body is focused and attentive and strong and clear. And that is, that's a beautiful way to live. So the other aspect of intermittent fasting that is a not diet is that this doesn't have an expiration date. Like, our body is designed to always, just much like sleep. Sleep isn't something, people are sleep deprived in our culture, our society, but it's not optional. And the same thing with fasting, it's not optional. It is imperative for our health, but we just didn't know it. So if more and more people are practicing this type of self-care, then and eating in an eating window, then more of us will be healthier and happier, and we'll be in a lot better shape, aging well.
So let me clear something up. You can eat what you want, it's just a matter of timing.
True. And here's the thing. So I'm a certified health coach specializing in intermittent fasting. So I support people with fitness and sleep hygiene and hydration and meditation and, movement and nutrition and all of it. But with an intermittent fasting schedule, clean fasting, which we can talk about, an eating windows schedule, once you find your schedule that you feel really well, and you open your eating window and you eat normally, whatever that is for you, then once you establish that fasting foundation first, I was going to say, many other coaches and so forth, you can watch lots of videos, and doctors and so forth who are proponents of intermittent fasting, they say that you should get your food in order first. Like, you should figure out if you're eating carnivore or vegan or, paleo, or like, they say that you should focus on the food first. And I do the opposite, because people are very emotional and attached to food. We like the foods that we like, and we don't want to change it. It's a huge amount of effort for people to change their food.
Can you talk about physiologically why this works? Let me give it the quick version
Yeah.
that I understand. If you're eating all the time, your body is cranking all the time, shooting out digestive juices and inflamed all the time. And this gives your body a long window of time when it's resting and not doing all that stuff and not inflamed.
And correct. And more than resting. It's not like it's in rest mode, the whole body. It's actually in repair mode. It's going to work. And so the digestion is in rest mode. So digestion alone takes so much bodily effort. And so when we put the digestion in rest mode, then there's a phenomenon called autophagy. The body goes into each cell and pulls out the old junky broken proteins and reutilizes them. It's upcycling and recycling and cleaning out and boosting immunity, lowering inflammation, managing blood sugar and insulin, normalizing blood pressure, normalizing cholesterol, triglycerides, liver function, gut function. So it is in repair mode. And then the appealing thing for people is that when we pause from eating and drinking flavored drinks, so the clean fast is plain unflavored water, plain unflavored black coffee, plain unflavored bitter green or black tea, plain unflavored electrolytes. What are electrolytes? Minerals, sodium, magnesium. And sometimes we need those when we're fasting, but plain unflavored. And then, of course, your medication as prescribed. So you're fasting clean, you're keeping insulin low. And once you gradually increase your fasting hours and decrease your eating window, and I would gradually aim for an 8-hour eating window within a week or so. So then you're fasting 16 hours. You're asleep
You're
for
asleep
7 or
for
8 of
half of
it.
that. Right, right.
Yeah. Then your body starts to tap into your own body fat for fuel.
Right.
So with a diet, you're struggling, you're eating little tiny meals all the time, insulin is high, hunger is raging. But when you're fasting, hunger subsides, which is counterintuitive. It's like, no, wouldn't you get really, really hungry? No. Hunger subsides and your insulin stays low, and then the body is able to tap into your own body fat for fuel, which is a beautiful energy. And that fat is there for a reason. So there's no body shaming here. Like we all have however percentage of our entire body is fat. And for example, I'm at my ideal weight. I'm 59. I'll be 60 in a month. And my body fat is like 23, 24%. I'm never going to run out. And every day I fast clean. I put my body into this deliberate state of repair. I feel so well. I go about my day. I have tons of energy, tons of brain focus and brain power. And then I eat later in my eating window. And as you said, can you eat what you want? Yes, you eat what feels good to your body. And over time, the reason I start with fasting first is it's a lot easier to start with fasting first. People feel so well so quickly. And then your body, you're kind of in this new communion with your in partnership with your own body, and you can hear it telling you the foods it wants and doesn't want. So guaranteed 100% of the time, every client I've ever had is astonished that later down the road, some of the foods that you crave now lose their grip on you, and the body actually can become not interested in those foods that aren't loving you back. So the fasting first.
Let me give you my experience, because I have
Yay!
talked
Real
to
case
Laurie a
study.
couple times and gotten some advice from Laurie a couple times.
Mhm.
So here's what happens for me. If you wake up, first day, it's, as always, the first, second, third day are the weirdest and hardest. But they're not that hard. It's just weird, I guess. You wake up, you're used to eating. There's this habit of wake up, I eat. So that's kind of difficult to just change
That's
the
right.
habit. You need to do something instead. You can't just sit around. You need to have an activity right away. Like go for a walk, whatever, something pleasant, not something that's a chore, just something to take up that time. And then if you stay busy, you kind of forget. At some point, you do get these what we call hunger pangs, but then that doesn't mean you're hungry. I guess that's just like digestive juices are used to getting food in there all the time. So they come in there and then they got no food, and you feel like that feeling, which you think is hunger, but it's really not. And as you change the pattern, that doesn't happen anymore. And when you feel that hunger, you just kind of you just strong arm it away. It goes away. You think you're going to become weak and unable to function because, oh, I'm hungry. Not true. Just ignore that. Stay active mentally. Do something. Clean the house. Whatever. Get a different routine, and you'll be able to make it till noon pretty easily.
Definitely.
Especially because I'm a guy who needs something to look forward to. So if I know that I'm just putting off the big pleasure of whatever it is I'm going to have, like a fried egg or whatever, I can do it. Just go for a walk, delay, drink water, take a bath. First day, fill in that time is tricky. Second day, a little less tricky, and on and on. But after a while, you get in this routine. It's pretty easy to go till noon anyway, and then maybe 2. Maybe you can make it till 2. You're golden. And then eat what you want, and you will feel a difference. And you'll feel like, wow, I'm doing a good thing. In my view, there's no stasis. You're either getting worse or getting better. If
That's
you're
right.
not getting better, you're getting worse, and it's true. That's a fact.
Yes,
There's
you're
no.
so funny.
And so you'll have the nice knowledge that you are getting better, even without doing that much. It's really a big accomplishment, and you are getting better. And you will notice it over time. You will notice it over a short time, but over the long period of time, you'll go to your doctor, and the doctor will be, whoa, well, what's going on here?
Yes.
You're way better. You won't dread your doctor's appointment. You're less
Mm,
if you do lose weight, you will be less likely to need all the medicines that make old people old. You're less likely to need blood pressure medicine and diabetes medicine and all that. Doctors are quick to hand out the medicines. I can't ever remember the doctor saying, "Let's talk about your diet. Let's
well,
talk
they
about
aren't
when you
trained to
eat."
do that.
Never,
They're,
never, never, never. It's up
no.
to you to try to fix yourself so that you don't need these medications, or you need a reduced amount of these medications. I'm not a doctor. Check with your doctor before doing anything I say. I'm not an expert at all, but I'm a common sense person. And these are my opinions. There you go. So that's my experience. And here's another thing. It's a daily thing. Each day, you're not going to succeed 100%. And you get up, it's a challenge. You get up the next morning and say, I'm going to do a little better tomorrow. I'm going to do a little better tomorrow. Ooh, I failed today. Don't worry about it. I'm going to get back on the horse tomorrow and do it again. And you will start getting better instead of getting worse. You can use that phrase if you like. And before you go on, I want to make sure people know how to contact you. Laurie is an actual coach, and her advice is super helpful. And instead of traveling, which is a terrible idea now because of the airlines, shame on the airlines. It's hell. It's no fun anymore. Take that money and put a little bit of it towards getting some coaching from Laurie. It's a win-win. Trust me. I was going to travel. Nope. Staying home. And I had all this, I got a little extra money getting a new bathroom vanity instead. Very excited about that.
Ooh.
You can take some of that money and get some coaching. And having a coach is very helpful. When you feel like, oh, this is, bumming me out. If it does
Yeah.
bum you out, you contact your coach and she helps you out. Right? All right,
Well,
you go ahead.
my business is called Fast Forward Wellness. So fast forward wellness.com, and people can go there and you can download a step-by-step guide of how to start. So it's very important to me. I love coaching people. I love my business. I love every call. I love every interaction. I love supporting and guiding people. And I have this fantasy, this wish that wouldn't it be amazing if every human being had an eating window? Every human being was aware of it's just like we go to sleep at night, we have an eating window. It's like, hey Bradley, when are you eating today? When's your eating window? That we're aware of and excited about and respectful of putting our body into that state of repair every day, and then waiting later, as you said, delay, don't deny. Jen Stevens wrote a great book called Delay, Don't Deny, and then a New York Times bestseller called Fast, Feast, Repeat. And so both of her books, and then along with Dr. Jason Fung's book, The Obesity Code, people have you have all the information out there that you need. And if you're someone who really, really, really likes to keep it simple, it's not that complicated. There's two parts to every day: the clean fasting hours and the eating window. You get to say when it is. Some people just keep it as simple as I don't eat before noon and I don't eat past 8. And you just, those are those guardrails for yourself. And you can move it around if you've got a, New Year's Day brunch, or you've got, late parties. You can move your eating window around. But generally, as you go through life, now my eating window is shorter. Why would that be? Because that's the eating window that makes my body feel amazing. So in menopause, I suddenly gained 50 pounds. Boom, 50 pounds came on, and I was already a super healthy eater and a runner, and so I was fit. And menopause hit, hormonal chaos. My body was holding on to fat like for dear life.
Hormonal chaos.
Right.
All right.
And so then I discovered intermittent fasting and started that very same day. And
How'd
I
you discover it?
through well, my mother's prayers.
Exactly.
Actually,
Tell the
I was
mother story.
absolutely despondent. I had this weight came on, and it wasn't just the weight. I was aching head to toe. Every part of me hurt, and I had brain fog and memory loss and depression, and then just feeling lumbering and weak and just not myself. I was a hurting pup. And I went home to Colorado where I grew up, and my mom said, let's use this time that you're home to turn the weight around. Okay, so that conversation didn't start well. My daughter ears were like, ah.
So you were angered by your mother's
I,
ham-fistedness on this
I
matter.
turned into a wailing 5-year-old, and she listened so lovingly. And, I was really exasperated. I was just at the point where I thought, do I have to succumb to just getting older and heavier and foggier and feeling worse forever? At that. So I went into menopause at 49. That's a little early. And at this point, I was 54. And I thought I would have a long life ahead, but it just seems like it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I'm supposed to feel terrible forever. And so she listened so lovingly, and then she said that she was going to pray for an answer, which was a gentle, thoughtful kindness. And that night I swear I Googled the same thing 100 times, which was, menopause, stubborn, hormonal, fat, weight loss, help me. I got to feel better. And up came intermittent fasting. And one thing your listeners might not know is I'd been studying nutrition for 25, 30 years. So in my late 20s, I started realizing that the food that started with Diet Coke. I had this thought, I think that maybe this isn't good for me.
No kidding.
No
I always feel
kidding.
weird when I have a Diet Coke.
Well, there are lots of people that have 6 a day or more liters, and I think that's the hardest addiction to break is a diet soda. So, okay. So I found intermittent fasting, which kind of astonished me because, as I said, I was aware of nutrition practices and, what people can do to be healthy. And I knew about long-term therapeutic fasting to heal diseases. I did not know that you could have a daily pattern of putting your body into a state of repair and eating later in an eating window of your choice, and that your body would be fueling on your own body fat and again boosting immunity and lowering inflammation and deep cellular clean out while you're fasting. And if people's A1C and whatever your health markers are that you're concerned about, step one, fast, clean, and start eating in an eating window. And then together we will find the eating window that works best for you and deal with all those health markers that you may or may not be. A lot of people are like, all my numbers are fine. I just feel like crap.
Right.
So let's get you feeling better. And
Did you ever experiment? I bet you must have, since you're into this, just to see if more would be better. And did you do an extended fast just to see what it would be like? I'm sure you
yeah,
did.
I
What
have.
happened?
I
You messed
have,
you messed around with it, and
for sure.
what happened?
So, uh, here's the thing. We are human beings. Maybe it's the nature of human being, but maybe it's just the nature of human beings in our society and our culture is we have been conditioned to desire the quick fix only. The quicker, the better. And we also have been conditioned, whether or not you're someone who considers yourself immersed in diet culture or a dieter or whatever, even if you're not a dieter, we still are immersed in this extremism that is to our detriment, right? So there have been plenty of studies, scientific studies on human beings, that if we can delay gratification, we're actually happier. So I'm going to answer your question, but I stay away from anything. So I coach people individually. And one of the things I'm listening for is kind of where is that extremism for you? Like, where are you punishing yourself and trying really hard, and then you can't take it anymore, and the pendulum swings this way? So I have experimented on myself in longer term fasts just as an experiment to see how it feels, to see what happens, and so forth, but I don't coach people in that because I'm interested in coaching people on something that is sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people eating crap day in and day out, drinking flavored drinks from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, and then you feel awful and you gain a ton of weight, or you're getting heavier and heavier and your health is getting worse and worse. And then you're relying on, oh, I'm going to do a 5-day fast in January. I'm going to do a 10-day fast in June. I'm going to go to Costa
Yeah,
Rica. And,
that's no
and
good.
no, 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 live so I have this mantra for myself, which is I'm a person who, so everybody out there, it's like, think for yourself. If you, here we are at the new year, right? You can answer the question, I'm a person who, what? What is your identity? What are your habits? What do you know yourself as? So first and foremost, I've created myself as I'm a person who takes really good care of myself
Hmm.
no matter what is happening in life, whether I'm on vacation, whether it's like terrible weather, whether I'm sick. It's like, I'm a person. So now I know myself and others know me as a person who takes really good care of myself. Now, the word that I add in there that is most important is the word now. I'm a person who takes really good care of myself now. So then it gets very micro. It's not forever, it's now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ask myself, what can I do to take care of myself right now? Have a glass of water, stand up, swing my arms around, call a friend,
That's good.
yeah. So what can it could be anything. What can I do? I could think about my next meal. What am I going to open my eating window with? Yum. The body likes the certainty of knowing that when you will be eating and what yummy food you'll be eating later. That calms the nervous system. You said a few minutes ago that hunger arises, and habit change is really hard for human beings. Okay, so it's
Habit change
changing
is
the
hard.
habit, right? And the other thing we have to remember is our physiology is designed, our body is designed to remind us. Imagine we're ancient humans. We're no different than ancient humans. We just happen to live in the society right now where food is available 24/7. Okay, but our physiology is the same as our ancient ancestors, and our body is designed to remind us, don't forget to go find food. So, and then our ancestors had to go find it. It wasn't like right there in the fridge or the snack cabinet, and so, or in the car or
Snack
by your
cabinet.
desk.
People have a dedicated snack
I
cabinet.
am as shocked
Wow.
as you are
There's
to
such
hear.
a thing as a snack cabinet?
Yeah, you and I aren't parents. Like I think it's a relatively new, like in the last
Whoa.
20 years,
Oh
people
my
have snack
goodness.
cabinets. People are out there like, yeah, where else do you keep your snacks? People keep snacks everywhere.
And what are snacks? Like people,
Well,
goldfish,
I used to think that snacks
Chips
were
Ahoy.
technically snacks are you eat a meal and then your next meal is 4, 5, 6 hours later. And when hunger arises in between, you have a little something to eat. So in my world, a snack is a little something to eat in between meals. The food industry has changed what that is. Like snack, when we were kids, a snack would be like a slice of apple, like an actual piece of actual food. But now snacks are, yeah, ultra processed, manufactured snack food, which is what most food is. So now people actually eat snack
A
food
death in a
for
bag.
dinner. It's like I'm exhausted and rushed, and I have no energy to make an actual meal of actual real food. And people, make a bowl of popcorn for dinner. So that's definitely adding to
I
our
did not
health
know there was such a
crisis.
thing. As a, I have a small apartment, and I remember your apartment in New York. You didn't even have room for a snack cabinet.
No, I kept my pans and sweaters and everything in my oven. One time my mom came to visit in New York. I lived there for 25 years. And she opened my oven, and there were, pans and sweaters and things in there. And she pulled everything out. She wanted to make something. And she's like, how do you turn this oven on? And I'm like, I don't know.
So my experience doing this alone is okay, but if you have, I'm lucky to have Larry as a friend. Uh, Having somebody to just check in with, super valuable. A little bit of encouragement, a little bit of a hint there, a little adjustment there. Huge. It's like you have someone on your team. It really is motivating, and it's a super good value and completely worth it. And you ought to at least give it a try. Can you tell them what the coaching experience is generally like for people? How it works out?
Oh,
How you start out? Like, what is the
well,
actual nuts and bolts procedure? A person would contact you right now and say, Laurie, can you tell me about how it works out? And you would tell them, and they agree to sign up or agree to get involved. And what happens then?
so people typically are feeling like they've had enough. Like they've tried very hard, whatever they've tried in the past, and that they either are very tired of feeling awful, or they have a particular diagnosis, or they're, just increasing their medications like crazy. And they also have a feeling like my life isn't over yet. There are more things that I want to do and experience, and travel and family, and grandchildren are coming, and or loved ones and friends, and like life, like things I want to learn and do. And I don't want to do it in this low energy pain, highly medicated state. Like, where are the answers? And so each individual who I coach, usually goes to my website and downloads the free guide and looks at the steps, and you decide, wow, okay, you start. What time am I closing my eating window today? And you pick the time. People are like, well, what time should I? You get to say, when do you eat your dinner? When is it going to be? It's like, maybe tonight it'll be hard to not have the snacks in your comfy chair in front of the TV. And we're off and running, new habits. And so then people can write me, or you can just go to look at the different coaching structures and coaching programs and sign up. But usually people have some questions first, and I'm very happy to have a free consultation where you can schedule some time, 15, 20 minutes with me, and you can tell me what you're dealing with and what you're frustrated with and what your desires are, and we can start. And I have found, so I still offer 6 sessions, a 6 session coaching program. I have found that for sure, those 6 sessions are designed to have you certain that you can do this and you feel well. And 6 sessions over about 8 weeks. In 2 months' time, people have lived a considerable amount of life. You've had good days, bad days. You've probably traveled. You've gone to work. You've gotten sick. You've had things happen in your life. Like, it's enough time that you've learned how to do it, that you feel better, and you've had life happen, and you know that you can have life happen and keep an eating window. 6 sessions. But that ongoing emotional support, structural, informative support, guidance, camaraderie is, making sure that you feel like you're doing it right. Or when you feel like nothing's happening, it's not working, or just like all of the emotion that having a person that is in your corner. And my coaching is not judgmental, not punitive. And you think, well, I need a taskmaster. I need somebody like really keeping me. So somehow I have this ability to inspire and motivate people to stay on track without using any sort of punishment model. So the punishment model is over. That however people feel like they need to be motivated by shame and guilt and feeling badly about themselves, that's no, those days are over. Let's not. So don't subscribe to that.
So it's money well spent, people. It's when you do it, you'll realize, oh wow, Laurie's right. This is this is a real thing, and it's doable. It's not. It doesn't feel punitive like a diet. It is not a diet. It's a change. This is unrelated to your thing. This is just a little hint for me. This is not about really about the fasting part. Something helped me is everybody has foods that are both they love and they're healthy. Everybody has something they love. Like I love strawberries. I love watermelon. There's food that they love that's not crap. Get rid of all the food in your house that is crap and have food only that you like and is healthy. So there's no punishment there either. If you have a snack, at least it's food and it's probably going to do your body good. What's fun for me is that during the eating window, I think, oh, my body needs some of this, some protein, some of this, some vegetables. I better have some of
Yes.
that. And so, I swear to you people, you will come to look forward to even things like broccoli. Your taste will change. And I don't want to bum you out by making you think you're going to be on a broccoli diet, but what you come
My
to
God.
love and cherish and look forward to will change. And and some people go by the anything in moderation rule. I think that's a terrible rule. For me, it is anyway, because if it's on my radar, I'm going to want it. I have to never have it. And then I will
That's
forget
right.
about it. It won't even come up for me. So you think, oh, I can have a cookie once in a while. Don't. Just get it out of there, forget it, look forward to other things that you like just as
Well,
well as a cookie. You just don't have it around.
here's the thing, Brett. I'm so happy you brought up food because, so remember, fasting is a foundation.
I
You
know.
shrink your eating window and you figure out your fasting hours.
I
You
know you
feel
don't want
really
people to
well.
think they're going to be denied the cookie. I know
That's,
that.
well, you just said that though. Don't have it. Okay. So let's talk about
That's
food.
from me. That's from me.
That's right. Here's how I then coach people regarding food. So you get in your fasting sweet spot, you feel really well, you know you can do it. Then we start noticing food, and I put food in four categories. The first category is your trigger foods that when you eat them, it sets off a cascade of, either feeling terribly or you want more, 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 like you
Chocolate.
can't stop. So, what are your trigger foods? Everybody
Chocolate.
knows what they are, and everybody has different degrees of binging or not being able to stop. Or even one of my clients noticed a trigger could be she really craves this particular type of potato chip, which and you're allowed. You're
I,
allowed. It's like eat normally, eat in your eating window, your normal foods. Except she noticed that an hour after eating those chips, she craves ice cream. So a trigger could be you eat this and now you're ravenous for that. Okay, trigger foods. Then the next category that I want people to start thinking about and noticing is the foods that make you feel poorly. Now, most people have no clue what those foods are. Now, if you're celiac or you have a strong gluten or dairy intolerance, some people do know, oh, no, I cannot eat that. But most people have no idea because we feel so awful all the time. Most people do not realize that puffiness, that lethargy, the achiness, the moodiness, the headaches are all caused by some food that did not love you back. Okay. So the foods that make you feel poorly, the trigger foods. The third one is your grab and go, I'm rushed and exhausted foods, the foods that you are inclined to stuff in your face when you're too tired and too rushed and too on the go and eating by the computer. And what are those foods? And then the fourth column is the foods you love that love you back. And you just started your conversation about food by identifying some foods that you love, strawberries, watermelon, that also love you back. So, what are the foods, my people, who who for you, you're like, oh, it's so delicious. I look forward to eating that. And when I eat it, I feel so satisfied and my body is like, oh, I've had enough. And it's so most people, when I ask, what are the tell me a wonderful meal that you look forward to having that doesn't, it's not for you like healthy food, right? It's like that for you is delicious and has you feel really well. And most people will say, grilled salmon with lemon and some roasted potatoes and some spinach salad. Like most people describe a meal just like that. Okay, more of that.
Yeah.
And so, what we do together then is with your body in the driver's seat, because once you've been fasting consistently, you have a keener discernment, a
Right.
relationship with what your body is telling you, the foods
Right.
it wants, and we start increasing the foods that love you back and lose interest in the foods that don't serve you well.
There's
And that's really fun.
one thing we have that has been underrepresented in our conversation here, and that is sleep. I got to tell you, in my experience, you will fail if you don't have sleep. I don't mean to use the word
100%.
fail. You can't do it if you're not. You got to have
That's right.
this routine of sleep, and if you like, if you can do 8 hours, 8 hours is great because you wake up feeling so good. And while you're sleeping, you're not eating. Sometimes, I mean, if I sleep crazy long, that means my fasting is easier because I already did 2 hours of sleeping through it. But 10 hours of sleep is too much because you'll feel weird. Say 8, 7, whatever's your perfect amount of sleep. You've got to have that, even in general. But that makes this thing so much more doable. I can't do it without the sleep. I fail. Like,
Cannot. Truly.
and I need comfort to fix what is broken by lack of sleep. My mind thinks, well, I'll feel better if I eat. And I don't, but you do it anyway. But if you start each day with this clean, fresh head after
That's
a
right.
good sleep, it's crucial. We should have talked about that in the beginning.
Well, people need to look at their evening habits, right? And so, again, with fasting first, fasting is the foundation. People can start to realize that, if I close my eating window earlier and now I'm not eating in front of the TV, I'm changing my evening habits. Maybe, in the winter is an amazing time to start shifting your go to bed time because it's dark at 4:30. Okay. So take advantage of this January. January is not a month to fix you and pick, you screwed up in November and December and it was a free for all. And now January we use to fix it. No, January is a beautiful opportunity. So let's use that opportunity to learn how to put your body into a fasting state of repair and then maybe get to bed earlier. And people can read Matthew Walker's amazing book called Why We Sleep, and it'll put the fear of God into you about never losing another minute of sleep again.
All right,
So it's really important.
tell them again how to get started with you. And this is something you should do today as soon as you see this. Laurie's going to share it. I'm going to share it. If you happen to see this, do it. And this is kind of hardcore, but for me, either you're getting better or you're getting worse. You make the call. You can do what you want. And this is a great way to get better. How do the folks start up with you?
So go to my website, Fast Forward Wellness, look around, see if my style, my voice, my encouragement, my way of supporting people resonates for you, and either write me in the contact form or sign up. My group programs are for women, and then my individual coaching is for everybody. And I really love working with people for a year. And that would be 24 sessions over the course of a year. And it includes a lot of bonus things. And then we start to, and what the promise is in the year is that not only are you in a beautiful groove, a flow, a schedule that has you feeling better, but that your health markers improve and that diet, that noise diminishes. So I always say this is not a diet, it's a quiet. And that it's just incredible after many months of working together how people are like, oh, I get it now. I not only feel so much better in my body and feel and a healthy person, but my mind is clear and the things that used to be hard aren't hard anymore, and I'm freed up to live a life that you love, and that's what
Oh,
we do together.
I just do have to add one more thing. There's something I noticed, and I know you're going to go, "Oh yeah, that's right." Is there's a certain lightness, both physically and mentally, that happens right away. It doesn't take long. Like after even a couple days, you think,
Yes.
"Whoa, whoa!" I like, well,
Hmm.
I feel pretty light, and it's easy to do things. It's easy to go up the stairs. It's easy to think of things. It's
Yes.
easy to be productive. I'm big on being productive. So that's it. Check out Laurie's thing. See if it is for you, and it very well might be, and it might be a great way to get better. Start getting better. Thank you very
Beautiful.
much, Laurie Lewis.
Thank you, Bradley J.
I'm going to end this broadcast now.